Before Silicon Valley changed the world, it smelled like soil, apricot orchards, plum trees, canning factories humming under the California sun. This wasn't a place of billionaires or buzzwords, it was farmland. And yet, just like the gold rush of 1849, another kind of fever was quietly building here, not for metal, but for ideas, not for picks and shovels, but for circuits, code, and risk. This is the story of America's cyber gold rush, how a stretch of California farmland became the most powerful engine of wealth and influence in modern history. Not overnight, not by accident, and not without casualties. I'm Clyde Chester, and this is History of United States. Long before it was called Silicon Valley, the region south of San Francisco was called Santa Clara Valley. It was quiet, agricultural, deeply ordinary. Families worked the land. Seasonal labor picked fruit. Canneries defined the local economy. But beneath that calm surface sat something unusual: Stanford University. Founded in 1885, Stanford wasn't meant to be an ivory tower. Its founders believed education should fuel industry. That idea would change America. The turning point wasn't a startup, it was war. World War II forced the U.S. government to invest heavily in radar, communications, and electronics. Stanford professor Frederick Terman saw opportunity. Instead of sending graduates east, Terman encouraged them to stay local, start companies, partner with the military. He helped create the Stanford Industrial Park, a radical idea at the time. Universities weren't supposed to incubate businesses, but California was rewriting rules. The first Silicon Valley fortunes didn't come from apps or software, they came from hardware: oscilloscopes, transistors, defense contracts. Companies like Hewlett-Packard, started in a garage, yes, but also funded by serious government demand. Varian Associates, Fairchild Semiconductor. These weren't flashy entrepreneurs, they were engineers. Their wealth came slowly, built on contracts, patents, and quiet innovation. This wasn't glamour, it was grind. If there's single moment Silicon Valley truly was born, it's this. In 1957, 8 young engineers walked out of a failing company called Shockley Semiconductor. They were labeled the Traitorous 8. Instead of loyalty, they chose possibility. They founded Fairchild Semiconductor, and from Fairchild came Intel, AMD, dozens of spin-offs. This wasn't just a company, it was a culture. Quit, build, repeat. Silicon Valley's DNA formed right there. In most of America, failure was shameful. In Silicon Valley, failure became currency. Venture capital emerged as the new mining stake. Instead of digging for gold, investors dug for ideas. Men like Arthur Rock, Don Valentine. They didn't just fund companies, they funded people. This changed American capitalism. Risk wasn't something to avoid, it was something to chase. As tech money poured in, the land transformed. Orchards were bulldozed, farms became office parks, ranch houses filled with engineers. Locals watched their towns disappear. San Jose, Mountain View, Palo Alto. Property values soared, working-class families were pushed out. The cyber gold rush created fortunes, it also created displacement. Just like 1849, not everyone struck gold. Women were sidelined, workers of color were underrepresented, laborers built the campuses but didn't share the profits. Silicon Valley sold itself as meritocratic, but access still mattered: education, networks, capital. The myth of the lone genius hid a deeper truth. The system rewarded those already close to power. By the late 1970s, the cyber gold rush was unstoppable. Microchips led to personal computers, computers led to software, software led to the internet. What started in a quiet valley reshaped work, communication, democracy.
The first fortunes paved the road, everything after followed. Silicon Valley wasn't destiny, it was a choice to mix education with industry, to reward risk, to let failure happen loudly. Like every American gold rush, it promised freedom, delivered inequality, and changed the land forever. From orchards to algorithms, California didn't just create technology, it created a new version of the American dream, still being debated, still being chased, still being paid for. I'm Clyde Chester, and this has been History of United States.